Let's talk about how plants respond to gravity. The phenomenon in which the plant roots bends towards the gravity is known as geotropism. If we see the structure of root tip, then it has different region like root cap, the zone of elongation, and zone of maturation. The central core of the root tip structure has a vascular cylinder known as stele. Stele is usually made up of cells of xylem and phloem. Now at the end of the root tip, we have root cap. The cells of the root cap have a special granules known as statoliths. These granules are usually made up of starch. Since these granules are heavy, they remain at the bottom of the cell. Now these cells of the root cap also has a special cell membrane proteins known as pin proteins. These pin proteins keeps changing their position depending on the position of statoliths. So if the statoliths are located down, all these pin proteins will accumulate at the bottom of the cell. Now the plant hormone auxin is usually made by the young leaves growing on the top of the plant and from the central vascular cylinder known as stele, the auxin reaches the cells of the root cap. Auxin is then transported outside from the root cap cells via pin proteins which are located in the cell membrane. Now since there are more pin proteins at the bottom of the cell, the lower end of the root tip will have high concentration of auxin. This high concentration of auxin inhibits elongation of cells in the zone of elongation. However, the top part of the zone has low concentration of auxin. As a result, all these cells will get elongated, and it appears that the root is moving downwards. Now let's see what happens if we tilt the root tip. When the root tip is tilted, the statoliths will change their position. The statoliths will usually settle downwards where the gravity is. As the statoliths change their position, the pin proteins also reorient themselves in the cell membrane. Now, as the auxin is transported outside from these cells, the lower end of the root tip gets concentrated with high amount of auxin. As a result, the cell elongation is inhibited in this region. In the top region where the concentration of auxin is low, the cell elongation continues. So the bottom part does not show cell elongation, while the upper part demonstrates cell elongation. Because of this difference, the root cap bends towards the gravity. So this is how the statoliths, the granules present in the root cap, allows the bending of root towards the gravity.